Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War event objectives for the Smithy Sword event, in which the Dhrak Smith is added to the game, as well as a bunch of other things, because as of today, we finally get the version 6.6 patch. This technically dropped last Thursday, which is a bit of a weird day for the patch to drop, as normally they're a Tuesday thing. However, it did drop midway through last week, and now we can actually participate with that patch. It did a few quality of life things, but the most noteworthy thing is it ended up setting up a system for them to now do a bunch of various holiday events, with that first one, of course, being for Halloween that we have right around the corner. With that, we end up getting the Lost Souls of Carmina event. So let's go straight into going over that. For the full patch notes, will be in the description below if you want to go and check it out. We also went over it on stream on Thursday, right when it launched. However, the short of it is it basically added this. Basically, whenever we have holiday events, so the next one will probably be for Christmas or for the 8-year anniversary of the game, as that's actually next month. So they might do one for that, otherwise the next one will likely be for Christmas. But it's basically a way for them to add a bunch of various loot whenever a new holiday ends up coming out. You'll be restricted to a single color, basically like how Guild War is, where you have to use pure color of a certain color. In this case, it's basically purple Guild War team. You can literally just copy paste whatever your purple Guild War team put into here and you'll probably be fine. Though for the lower range, you probably want something a little bit quicker, as generally your teams in Guild War are a little bit more survivable, rather than just quick killing out weaker enemies, which these earlier battles definitely are. But basically you earn a bunch of material that you can then exchange for a bunch of rewards. As far as getting all of these rewards, you actually get quite a bit of them just from doing the free, but if you do want to end up getting everything, you want to go and buy the 50 tier every single day, which I already ended up getting for today. But basically, you get 3 free battles today, kind of like dungeons. If you don't use it, you end up missing out on them. So basically, make sure to do your 3 daily battles every single day. But on top of that, you can also buy an additional amount of battles every single day that goes from 50, 100, 150, 200, so on and so forth. And basically, you want to do that once per day, where you do your 3 daily battles and your 50 gem 3 extra battles for 6 total battles. If you want to get absolutely everything, including basically what you need to do to get everything, it is 2,200. You'll need to buy the Witch Armor once, the Power Orb once, which is also an achievement, the Carmina's Cat all 5 times, and currently that's actually 1 copy short of being enough to max out the pet. I'm not sure if we're going to be getting one randomly or exactly what that'll be, but right now it gives you 30 copies. If I'm not mistaken, you need 31 to max it, so that's a little one short, so hopefully it'll change it to 5. So I'd advise getting that last. And 1 Carmina. Even though you can get it 3 times, of course, just getting 1, you get 3 copies and use a blue orb on it and you're good to go. You could alternatively buy this 2 times if you want to do it that way. However, with how many blue orbs are around, it's probably just more efficient to just simply throw a blue orb at it and be good to go. So in total, that's then 500. Another 500, so 1,000, 800, 1,800, and then 1 copy of that for 2,200. Alternatively, with your excess, you might find that you might want to end up getting the Trait Stone bundle. The main reason for this, of course, there are a lot of Trait Stones in the game. However, you do get 2 Celestials, which is a pretty cheap way to consistently get 2 Celestials. So it might be worth considering depending on what point you are within the game. Similarly, if you happen to be low on pet food, this effectively, once you reach the later stages right at the end and you're just kind of having like some excess points, this essentially comes out to about 1 gem per purple pet food, which is by no means a bad offer. That's actually a pretty good exchange rate, especially if you are low on such a material. So overall, some pretty good rewards, and to get it all, just simply do your 3 daily battles every single day, do the 51 every single day as well, where you spend for 50 gems, and occasionally throw down the 100 one if you're looking to get some of the side ones as well. If you happen to want to exchange a little bit of gems in order to end up getting them. Anyways, that's pretty much the event. You just do a bunch of quick battles. Actually, let me go buy another tier right now so we can just show them, but they're pretty straightforward. They are going to get harder. Every single 5 battles you do, you end up getting more points into it. So if we just get some battles right here, and now we have another 5, and as you can see, it goes from 50 to 100 to 150. I advise never going any further than that. Generally, just doing 50 every single day should be fine. I believe if you want to get these other 2, you will be like 1 tier short or 2 tier short, so you kind of have to do the 100 once or twice. So if you want to kind of exchange out for that. But overall, if you just do the 3 daily and the 50 gem one, you should be fine to get most of the more important loot out there. But anyways, you just get a bunch of battles that you can end up choosing from. You could always just pick whatever one is the weakest team, which oddly enough I believe is this one, even though it is the highest amount of level here. It is the weakest team. I haven't actually made any different teams here. I just simply copy-pasted the exact Purple Guild War team I normally run for Purple Guild War, and simply just plopped it here. It's good enough. Not the most optimal thing is for this lower range, you know, just a single AoE options. Probably one of your best bets. That just throws them down, just true damage here. Apparently we already killed him with a skull, and there we go. And as you can see, we end up getting the points. I believe there's also an achievement for getting 100 of those points, though as you can see, that is ridiculously easy to end up doing. And the other one, of course, is for getting this power orb over here, which does require 800. However, that's not a particularly high amount. And if I'm not mistaken, if the only thing you cared about was the achievement, you could end up doing that with just the free battles. Because you end up having this this event lasts for 2 weeks, so all of this week, all of next week, and you're going to be getting at minimum 60 per day, technically more than that because of the increasing amount, and that comes out to 840, not even counting the incremental additional amount that you're going to be having for going deeper and deeper every 5, which is why my points are showing as 1 higher right now, as we did 5 battles, and then they start going 1 higher, then they go to 22, 23, so on and so forth, basically increasing by 1 every 5 battles you do. However, they do get more difficult. How difficult the cap is, I'm not quite sure, but obviously at this lower range, they are pretty easy. And even if you are a newer player, you can still very easily get enough points at the lower ranges to not really need to worry about it. But anyways, yeah, even with the free battles every single day, that is enough to get the power orb. Now, I do advise getting the other stuff. They already have confirmed that Carmina and the pet will be available into the future, but still, might as well get it while it's the event. And same as Witch's Armor, this is actually one piece that has not actually been confirmed on if it will return or not. So I would say it's pretty high priority to end up getting just in case, as we don't actually know in the case of this armor how or if it will even be obtainable into the future. Whereas things like this, we do know, while it is advised to get them during the event, they will be available at a later point. This, I believe, is just going to be in the standard drop table because it's a boosting pet, and all boosting pets are eventually added to the drop table. I believe as soon as the event ends, it'll be so. And I believe this one comes in about 5 or 6 weeks after the fact. It'll just be in standard, you know, Glory Gem Guild VIP chests. Pretty much how every event troop ends up coming out. So they are obtainable in the future. However, this Witch Armor has not been confirmed in any way, I don't believe, on being available in the future, so definitely make sure to pick it up. Anyways, that's the full rundown on that, and that's the main thing that was added in version 6.6 of Gems of War. So next, there's a new bug that they added this patch. Nice. On the many bugs, they added this, or I have no clue how many they added. You know, they always add some. But one of them is we no longer have the tab to go buy this guy, so yeah, as you can see here, if I click on here, it brings me to the middle of nowhere. So we can't get him that way. However, he should be in the event queue drop table. Is he? I haven't actually checked. He should be, though. Yeah, there he is. Hey, I followed Invalidus. Gosh, it's such a bad mythic. But, of course, we always get the mythic luck when we don't need it whatsoever. But this is currently the only way to get Dhrak Smith is in the event queue drop table. I guess here's the event queue drop table right now. No, not the whole thing in it. Though, nice Glaceon pickup, which is oddly enough better than Fallen Invalidus. But anyways, as far as the new troop that came in, this will likely be fixed in the next day or so. But basically, the only way you can currently get Dhrak Smith right now is through event keys, as he's actually not available for Glory, but that'll be fixed soon. Anyways, as far as Dhrak Smith, he ends up creating a bunch of skulls boosted by all undead and daemon allies, and that should double boost if there are daemon undeads, which are a few of them, like Def and a handful of other ones. And it's based on both allies and enemies. This pretty much isn't worth using unless the enemy team is like pure daemon. This is probably going to be really useless right now. However, remember this troop whenever a 40 or 50% mana start gets released for daemons, as this thing might be an okay hard counter if teams like those ever start to get used to a degree that ever matters. So that might be potentially good into the future. However, as it currently stands, there's not enough undead teams. They're pretty much never really used, or at least not as pure teams. And daemon teams are pretty much non-existent due to the lack of a proper mana start trip for them. So in his current state of the game, pretty bad, but might at some point find a very specific niche where he can hard counter a specific team as a decent skull spammer. But as it currently stands, he's pretty much just another troop to go upgrade the Kingdom of Dhrak-Zum, which is good because that kingdom does not have that many troops at all. That ends up bringing it to, we should bring it to 16 stars. Let's say unlock all traits on the troop. Sure, we'll go do that real quick, I guess. Here, have your traits. And I believe it's the highest star should be able to go to. I don't see why it wouldn't be. So get them traded real quick, and there should be another star then for Dhrak-Zum, which brings us to a total of 16, which should be its current new cap as of today. Nope, apparently it is 20. Wait, what am I missing on the other one then? Let's see. Wait, what is the other one then? Hold up. Wait. Oh, wait. It's the Gem Dragon. I forgot. You exist, don't you? Well, we're not getting that anytime soon. So never mind. You can actually reach 17 star, assuming you have the Gem Dragon. Otherwise, it's 16 star. Anyways, that's that new little guy. He'll probably be fixed, but as it currently stands, he's not available for glory, though he will be at some point whenever they fix that bug. Similar to that, basically just wait until you can get it for glory if you just want to not open up event keys. And similarly for the other events, wait until grabbing the pets, as they will probably make this a 7 instead of a 6. As with 6, it is not actually capable of being max, so wait on that pet as well. Anyways, as far as the rest of the event key drop table, it is everything from Dhrak-Zum except for the following. So, the things that are not in the event key drop table right now are, of course, the Gem Dragon that you have to simply get off the RNG machine or wait until they change that system a little bit later down the line. The other things that are not available are the Doom of Stone. That is only available from a brown Tower of Doom. And the other ones that are not available are the 4 faction troops, as you would kind of expect, all 4 of the Lithia faction troops. And that is the full rundown of everything that's not in drop table. As far as the actual drop table itself, the main noteworthy thing, if you are going to open event keys, is hope for Obsidius and hope you don't accidentally get a Fallen Valdis like we just did. And apparently 4 times over. Why does it keep giving it to me? But anyways, Obsidius is pretty relevant as it's a 4-time stun. It's mostly used in curse stun teams, where you both curse and stun the entire enemy team, essentially disabling everything they have in regard to traits and as far as immunities. So it's a pretty nice combination to have. It's normally ran more often than not with Mirage Queen, because Mirage Queen gives 50% mana start to all elementals, of which it is, while also having 4 times curse. Alternatively, of course, there are the Caranderas, which end up working out pretty well for it. And of course, you could just simply use as a utility troop. One of the more noteworthy things that it hard counters is cleanse teams. So anything that's running Orpheus medals and or Beatrix in particular, really good at countering that out, as a stunned Beatrix cannot end up cleansing and you just get the whole team stunned. So some stealthy teams can also be hard countered by it and other stuff like that. It's mostly a troop that you use when you really specifically need the enemy team to be stunned and you need something really efficient more so than elementals to end up doing so. And but it's a pretty good utility troop to end up having. As far as the overall value from the event key drop table, I would say it's okay if you're looking for like a Glaceon Skull Spammer. It also has the other Doom Skull Spammer of King Bloodhammer. It's overall okay value. Given how little troops are currently from the kingdom, you don't end up getting too much of a bonus from it since you can't even reach 20 star yet. It's currently at 16 or 17, depending on if you have Gem Dragon or not. And overall, it's probably be a skippable week unless you're really looking for one of the legendary Skull Spammers, or if you want to test your luck trying to get an Obsidius and not fail like we just did with Fallen Valdis. Anyways, as far as other events that we have going on, of course, we have a very standard reward event. Basically, how the scoring works is don't take Night Hag. That's all you really need to know. You do get incrementally more points if you keep taking the same room. So, for example, right here, if we see a bunch of rafts, we might want to keep taking rafts over some other priorities. However, overall, it's just don't take Night Hag. As long as you're not taking Night Hag, you're taking the correct room. And that's pretty much all you need to know for the reward event. Anyways, as far as other events that we have going on this week, of course, we do have the Lost Souls of Carmina. This will be lasting for 2 weeks, all of this week and all of next week. This Tuesday, we have a faction event for Lithia, as we just ended up mentioning, blue-purple faction. Wednesday, we're going to be getting the 2022 Halloween pet. Of course, we also are getting a Halloween pet from the Lost Souls of Carmina. However, that one is associated to Carmina and is a boost ratio pet that will be available in the future from the standard drop table. However, this one will not be. This is the standard cosmetic one, and you'll be able to get it this Wednesday. And it has no effect, of course. It's just a standard cosmetic holiday pet as we tend to get. And that'll be available this Wednesday. Thursday, we have ourselves Slayer class. Slayer class, of course, a pretty relevant one, especially if you haven't gotten to level 100 yet. It's most noteworthy used with Zugoth builds in order to end up doing a lot of damage. Biggest, most relevant thing that it has is it is the only hero class that both enrages when it gets a kill, as well as enrages every single time it takes an extra turn, with the more relevant thing being that it enrages every single time it ends up getting a kill. So you can basically just go from kill to kill to kill to kill to kill, constantly being able to hit through all of their traits. So this is really good for hitting through things that have agile, skull reduction, anything to dodge skulls, anything to reduce skulls. It basically doesn't even matter, because 100% of the time it'll always have enrage, which not only is 1.5 times more damage, but it hits through all the traits for pure consistency. So it's used quite a bit for Explore 12 and in areas where you don't have as high of a chance of losing. It's a pretty flimsy hero class, among one of the more flimsier ones. However, it gets a lot of very quick damage in, so it's not something you would really run for something like Guild War. However, it's really good for farming locations like Explore 12, for example. Aside from that, this Friday we're going to be having a raid event. The raid event, I believe, is for Kerkroth. And what that is really funny about that is it's one of the only raids events, and by one the only, I mean the only, where you can actually run a Zugoth against a Zugoth. You cannot actually cast Zugoth on Zugoth. It will not insta-kill it because of its immunity. However, you can use a Zugoth versus a Zugoth in that particular time, so we'll be able to do that this Friday for the good old raid event. Aside from that, let's go over now to the Soulforge. As far as Soulforge is concerned, a couple good weapons. As far as troops, not so much. A lot of average stuff, most of which is pretty skippable. If I was to say any one troop that is maybe worth getting this week, maybe Wardbreaker. Very situational, the kind of teams that get used with it. However, of the dragons, is still one of the few dragons that's still semi-relevant, though hindered greatly by its really high mana cost of 30. But ends up exploding the entire board, kind of like a Gargoltha situation, while dealing a bunch of damage to all enemies. This is hard countered by things like Submerge and such, and can often just be a way too high mana cost mana accumulator. However, in the right context, he can end up getting most of his mana, if not all of his mana back, while still damage pressuring. There are better infinite loops and other things that could do AoE damage, like Truffle Beatrix and the such. However, it is still situationally used on some teams, particularly dragon teams, if you're building into them. So it can occasionally get some value, but overall it's kind of average. But still, as far as dragons are concerned, above average for the typing. As far as weapons, there are a few that are worth getting. The most noteworthy one to probably mention is Stone Slicer. So Stone Slicer is this actually the first time since Hellcrag that this has been available? Now that I think about it, it might be. Hold up. I believe this is the first time since Hellcrag released that Stone Slicer is available. This is pretty relevant because of two reasons. One is it boosts Construct, and pretty much all of Hellcrag is Construct, and of course the Construct hero class and all that. However, the coloration is the more relevant part. It creates purple and brown. The relevant part about that is not necessarily that it creates purple and brown, though brown is really good for Constructs, particularly with Chalcedony, of course. However, the more relevant thing is it is a purple weapon, a purple-blue weapon to be exact. So it creates mana back into itself while feeding brown into the many, many useful brown constructs, most notably Chalcedony, which of course goes crazy with creating brown of its own and just, just doing infinite damage, infinite amount of mana accumulation, all that good stuff. But yeah, if you've been looking to do Stone Slicer to do any kind of Hellcrag construct teams, or with Chalcedony, or with any kind of other thing you want to end up doing it with it, you can technically do it with Lord Slaughter as well and a few other contexts like that. But yeah, it is finally available again for what I believe, unless I'm forgetting of an instance, this is the first time since Hellcrag release, or second time, but I'm pretty sure it's the first since Hellcrag release that this weapon is available. So if you've been keeping an eye out for it, it is finally available, so make sure to get it. Aside from that, obviously Doomed Blade, pretty decent pickup. It's the category of Doom weapon that I would consider pretty much the main best priority one to get. There are two of them, of course, the books and the blade, or not necessarily the blade. I'm not sure what you call this category. I call it the AoE Doomskull converting category. I'm not sure if it has like a proper name, but it's all those cleave weapons that hit all enemies while converting to Doomskulls. These are a lot of damage. These are used a lot more offensively compared to defensively. The books are pretty much only used for Guild War defense, whereas the blades are used, or not the blades, but this category of weapon, the full AoE into Doomskull convert, are used more offensively. There's a lot of factions that you can end up using for, a lot of game modes you can end up using them for, a lot of PvP builds, and even a few Guild War builds offensively that you can end up building these into. And overall, probably one of the highest priority ones to actually use your scrolls on to end up axing them. And yeah, definitely advise getting it. I would say Stone Slicer is actually higher priority, but if you have the resources for it, definitely make sure to get Doomed Blade as well. And aside from that, if you're still looking for something to craft, Standard Fire and Ice kind of okay. Once you have Dawnbringer, you pretty much never really touch this weapon again. However, it's a good like preemptive mini Dawnbringer in a sense. Up until that point, not quite the same, but good alternative leading up to that point. But Stone Slicer and Doomed Blade is definitely the two highest priority this week in that regard. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much a rundown of everything. Of course, we'll be covering the teams video very, very soon. Just kind of going over everything, teams for the Lost Souls of Carmina, which are pretty much just purple standard throughout Leprechaun stuff, as well as everything else throughout the entire week. If you still have any other questions about the event, do end up letting me know, and I'll make sure to go and answer them in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like on the video as it helps out a lot and is greatly appreciated, and I'll catch you all later. Goodbye, everyone.